Welcome back to the Yoga Club. My name is Chintamani Cloud, and in today's practice, I'll be inviting our bodies into a super sweet and slow, gentle sequence. If you've never done yoga before, this practice is for you. It's super beginner. I'm going to be breaking everything down as we go along, and then also if you've got something going on with your body today that's either chronic or acute, this practice will be for you, as we'll be offering lots of modifications. We'll even be starting on our backs so that we can slowly and safely warm up the body before we come into any seated cross-legged hip opening positions. So hopefully everyone is going to be able to find what they need out of this practice. It's about a 40-minute practice, so we'll make it to our mats to get started. Namaste. As we make our way towards our mats, towards the floor, we're going to turn the palms to face up as we lengthen the arms alongside the body. And then we'll check in with the nasal passageway to see if it's clear today. And if it is, we'll draw big breaths into the body through the nose. Trying to take in more breath into the body per moment as we inhale. And trying to have more breath leave the body per moment as we exhale. Trying to cultivate a deep and sound breath. Maybe restricting the nasal passageway as you inhale to create an internal humming sound for the breath. And then see if you can cultivate that on your exhales. Now that we've come into this place where we've taken weight out of the shoulders, out of the ankles and feet, a place where we've been able to realign the spine, calming the mind, and coming back to the breath, we're going to prepare to reintroduce movement back into the body by wiggling through the fingers and the toes. And if a yawn and a stretch want to sneak into the body, feel welcome to do that. You can stretch the arms out overhead and lengthen as you take in a deep breath. And exhale as you release. We're going to slowly bend at the knees and maybe blink the eyelids open now. Drawing the knees in towards the chest and giving yourself a bit of a hug, or moving into a rocking sensation from side to side to massage the lower back. From here, we're going to return the soles of both feet back towards the floor. And we're going to get ready to warm up the body through some breath work and some spinal movements. So we're going to extend the arms alongside of us. Now we're going to turn the palms to face down. We're going to start pushing the spine in towards the floor. Feel your lower back pushing into the floor, and that engaging your core and starting to also lift your glutes off the ground. And from here, we're going to come into our bridge posture. So getting ready to put weight into the hands and feet. We're going to engage through the glutes and take a deep breath. As we inhale, we're going to lift the hips up. And as we exhale, we're going to draw in the muscles of the glutes to support the lower back. Another deep breath here, inhaling and exhaling, and one more breath here, deep inhale. And we're going to return the hips back down towards the ground as we exhale. We're going to push the lower back into the floor, lift the feet off the ground, and once again draw the knees into the chest to give ourselves a nice stretch through the lower back and hips. And maybe rotate from side to side to massage the muscles on the side of the spine. All right, now we're gonna bring both the soles of the feet back towards the floor. I'm gonna re-extend my arms alongside the body. And as I exhale, I'm gonna push my left foot up towards the ceiling. And then we're gonna grab around the thigh, maybe crawl the fingers up to the calf. If you can reach the foot or the ankle, feel welcome to extend the arms or use a strap, and then take another breath here. Inhaling, you should already be feeling a stretch, but if you wanna pull in deeper towards your edge on your exhale, feel welcome to. And you can play with pointing the toes and flexing them. And pointing them and flexing them. And if you want to try for 1 or 2 more breaths to straighten out the right leg, feel welcome to. And then we're going to re-bend that right knee if it's not bent. Take another inhale here, and as we exhale, we'll see if we can lower the left leg towards the floor. Then take an inhale breath to rebend the left knee, and on your next exhale breath, we'll lift the right foot up towards the ceiling. Getting ready for our second side now. Maybe our fingers are just holding the leg from around the thighs. Some of us might be able to pull the leg even further in from the calf. Some of us might be reaching towards the ankle or the big toe on the right leg. Taking deep breaths into the body and out through the mouth. Maybe inhaling in through the nose and explore exhaling out through the nose. Whichever tools you need to maintain a deep and steady breath. Trying to extend the leg now for 2 more breaths if you haven't already. And then if the left leg is straight, we'll inhale to bend the knee and exhale to release the right leg towards the floor. Then inhale to rebend it. And now we're going to exhale and draw both knees in towards the chest again. And then we're going to return the feet towards the floor. And now we're going to get ready for some leg lifts. So I'm going to encourage us to extend the arms back alongside the body. We're going to be tilting the tailbone under as we push the lower back in towards the floor. And then we're going to support with the feet. And when your next exhale breath comes, we're going to try to exhale left foot up towards the ceiling. Then we're going to take an inhale breath here. And as we exhale, we're going to bend the left knee and return the left foot towards the floor. Right leg moves on the exhale breath. Take an inhale breath, right leg lifting. Exhale, right foot lowering. Inhale breath, we pause. Exhale breath, we move left foot to the ceiling. Inhale breath, we pause. And exhale breath, we lower left leg towards the floor. Inhale breath, no movement. Exhale breath, right foot lifts. Inhale breath, no movement. Exhale breath, right leg lowers. And if you're using a straight leg, maybe your inhale breath will rebend the right knee, and exhale breath, left leg lifts. Inhaling here, exhaling, you lower with a straight leg or a bent leg. If it's straight, your inhale breath will rebend the left knee. Exhale, right foot lifts. Inhale here and exhale, right leg lowers. That's the end of the set. We'll go ahead and rebend the right knee and exhale both knees in towards the chest, with the option now to open up into happy baby. If we're really tight, we can just hold around the thighs. Maybe try to reach the hands towards the calves, the ankles, or the feet. And then if you're able to, pulling the feet, ankles, or thighs so that you can encourage the deeper squat sensation and a deeper bend into the knees. And if you'd like to roll from side to side here to massage the lower back as you come into your happy baby, feel welcome to. And then we're going to play with one more gesture here while we're on the floor. We're going to extend the feet up towards the ceiling and extend our arms out to our sides. If you're able to bend into your elbows, creating what's known as cactus arms, feel welcome to. And then we're going to lengthen through the neck and head as we push the lower back, middle back, and upper back in towards the floor to support holding our extended legs up towards the ceiling. A couple more breaths here. Deep inhale in through the nose, and if you need to, out through the mouth, or a deep breath in through the nose and maybe out through the nose as well. And now we're going to bend at the knees And then we'll bring the feet towards the floor. And we're gonna get ready to roll over onto our right side. And then we're gonna push up to a tabletop position when you're ready. And we're gonna use the hands. We're also gonna try to pay attention to where the feet are. So I'm gonna bring my right foot in and my left foot out. So when I come up, I can push into my tabletop position a little bit more easily. And then when I come into tabletop, I'm gonna reach for a blanket. If you don't have a small blanket, you can use a towel as well. And this way we have a nice cozy position for the knees. In our tabletop position, we're gonna lift the head up, but tuck the chin in. So we don't wanna look forward with the chin and face looking forward. We also don't want the head to sag between the shoulder blades. So you're gonna push into your arms to straighten out your arms, push into your hands to help straighten out your arms, and feel your shoulders moving away from the spine, and feel your spine lifting up towards the ceiling. That's where the sensation we're looking to create. And now we're gonna come into some breath and spinal movement a little more fluidly now, inhaling into a back bend, looking up, exhaling into a forward compression, tucking the chin in. And we're gonna do that 5 times. So 4 more, inhaling here, and exhaling here. Inhaling, rolling through the shoulders, creating a back bend. Exhaling, rolling through the shoulders to create a forward compression. And 1 more set. And then we'll come back to a flattened position of the spine. And I really want us to feel a lift in the core if we can. And we're gonna get ready to really engage the core now by crawling our fingertips forward or sliding your hands forward. You're also gonna move forward, bringing the hips forward towards the floor. The shoulders are now moving towards being on top of the wrists still. And we're creating a plank position with the knees on the ground. If you want to experience what a full plank feels like, you can always lift the knees off the ground, but I'm going to recommend us to keep the knees down, squeeze the glutes, draw the core in, lift the head up, but tuck the chin in for 2 more breaths. And then we're going to walk the hands back into space so that it creates our tabletop position once again. And now from here, we're gonna have the option of curling the toes under and lifting up and back into a downward dog. If downward dog is new to you, you can see what this experience feels like when we draw the heart above the head, because we're essentially creating an inversion for the body here. And we're also creating an arm balance where we're carrying a lot of weight into the arms. Sometimes we talk about walking our dogs, so maybe you've already done that as I'm doing that, to help us breathe into one stretch right down into the calf on one side of the body and then the other. And then we'll try to bring both heels down. We're gonna try to tuck the chin in and look back behind us. And if you haven't released already, now we're gonna exhale and bring the knees back towards the floor, and we're gonna come into a child's pose. I'm actually gonna walk my knees off of my knee guard, and then I'm gonna sit down onto my heels. Now, some folks might benefit from them taking their towel and using that to create a block if you don't have a yoga block. And then we're gonna take a nice inhale breath here, and as we exhale, we're gonna bring our arms forward. Another inhale breath here, and see if you can bend into your elbows and come into a position where you're able to bring your forehead to the floor or your blanket and still keep your hips down towards your heels. And then if you need to keep supporting into your arms, you can, or if you can release all the way down, you might enjoy then bringing your arms back alongside you and taking 3 more deep breaths here. And maybe a gentle tilt of the head from side to massage the forehead. We're going to bring the hands back forward if they come towards the ankles, and now they're going to be back underneath the shoulders so that we can push up and lift up to our tabletop position. And then from here, if you need to reestablish your knee guard, I'm going to walk my hands back forward and come into tabletop position. Now, for this next posture, I'm going to be utilizing blocks. If you do not have blocks at home, there could be the potential where you have other boxes or books to use, but I would recommend grabbing 2 towels that are about the same size, rolling them up so that you could create 2 blocks or block-like structures to balance underneath your hands evenly. So that's just a suggestion. Sometimes a person feels comfortable enough just balancing on their fingertips, but it does place a lot of weight on the joints of the fingers, and so I will be paying attention to how your hands feel while you're holding this low lunge. And I'll make sure that we don't hold it for too long so that if a person is doing this experience without blocks, their hands won't get too sore. So coming back into our tabletop position, hands are going to be either on the floor or on blocks, and we're going to get ready to do 2 low lunges, one on right side and one on left side. So starting with the right side first, we're going to engage the core. We're going to pull this thigh and knee up, and we're going to see if we can slide the foot along the floor. And then at some point, the foot and the floor might be really rubbing, and that's okay. You're gonna crawl your toes forward to help move your foot forward along the floor, and then you're gonna lunge. So the lunge experience is gonna come by intentionally moving the knee forward, bringing both hips forward. And then to get a nice stretch through the foot, but also to protect the left knee, I'm curling my left toes under. Sometimes it benefits us to experience pointing the toes as well. So if you want to try that for a few breaths. And then sometimes, depending on your body's alignment, one position might be more comfortable for you than the other. So see which place feels more comfortable for you, and that's where you want to hold it. So if it's here with the toes curled under or with the toes pointed, either way is okay. And you want to breathe into wherever your alignment is. What we're trying to do is experience a deep stretch here in the front side of the left hip. And we're going to try to be here for 2 more breaths. And now we're gonna come out of the weight of the knee. So we're gonna pull the knee back, and it's already gonna start to straighten out this right leg. Then I'm gonna walk my hands back, but crawl my toes forward. You see that? And now that's created a half splits position. That's what we call this one. And I'm gonna keep my hips nice and lifted, so we don't wanna get to a place where we're leaning back into those heels. We wanna stay nice and lifted off the heels, nice long spine. My right leg is as straight as it can be with safety on the right knee. And we take a nice inhale breath here, and then guiding through the bending of the elbows to deepen the forward fold. And sometimes you might benefit from having the hands on the floor to deepen the stretch. And that's okay too. If your hands are on the floor, get a nice stretch, deep inhale, and still bending at the elbows will deepen the stretch. Okay, if you're on blocks like I am, I'm gonna help use those to help bring my right foot back in space into the lunge, and then to keep pulling the foot back so that I can place the right knee down. And then I like to invite us to shake a tail here, where we just swagger through the hips right and left. And we're gonna come into that low lunge on the second side, and this is a challenging pose. So, but its work is gonna help open us up in the right places so that we can develop in our yoga practice. So this is gonna get us that deep stretch in the front side of the right hip now. Remembering we can have the toes curled under for a few breaths and then pointed for a few breaths. And then just go ahead and hang out in whichever shape is more comfortable where there isn't any cramping. And we're gonna try to just deep breathe into the stretch in the front side of the right hip. And hopefully you're not feeling any cramping in either alignment, but I'm just cueing that because of the possibility. And I want folks to just remember that we can come out of poses early if we need to. What we need to remember is to take in another deep breath. Take in another inhale whenever anything happens to you in your practice. Inhaling slowly and evenly in through the nose, and exhaling slowly and evenly either out through the mouth or out through the nose. We're gonna walk the hands back in space now. And I'm gonna crawl my left toes forward, starting to straighten out the left leg. Then when I get to my perfect point, I pull the toes back and the heel comes forward. The hips stay lifted off the heel. I take another inhale breath here. I'm lengthening my spine and drawing in through the core. And exhale as I bend into the elbows. And this is creating a nice stretch along the back side of the leg here. I counter stretch to what we were just working on, which was the front side of the hip and the thigh. Now we're doing the back of the thigh. Maybe getting right into that calf and the ankle, the Achilles of the ankle too. All right, we're gonna come out of that lunge now, or out of this half splits and lunge sequence by drawing the knee up into the chest and placing now the knee back behind us. And then shaking a tail if you need to, or like to. Just help get things out of those hips. So we're gonna be transitioning now to a standing position, and I'm gonna invite us to use the blocks or our hands on our fingertips. We're gonna step the right foot forward up in between the hands, and you're gonna feel that engage the core. We're gonna try to curl the left toes under and then push through our hands and our right foot to step the left foot forward up to meet the right. And as the feet come up to meet the hands, we're gonna take a nice inhale breath here. Maybe think of your spine realigning and lengthening, and as you exhale, we're gonna come into a forward fold. And your hands might stay on your props, or maybe you'll be able to reach towards the floor. Some of us might not be able to touch the floor, that's okay. Just wherever you are, release the neck and head and look back behind you, even if your hands are on your calves or on your shins. Take another breath here. And we're gonna get ready to come to standing, and I'm gonna move my blocks out of the way here. And we're gonna inhale, and we're gonna slowly unfurl up to standing. We're gonna come into some shoulder rolls. I'll turn towards the camera now. Inhaling to lift the shoulders up, and exhale and roll them down the back. Really try to exaggerate it so you can get more movement through your shoulders, lifting them as high up on towards your ears as you can, squeezing them back behind you, depressing them down, and then rolling them forward again. We really want to make an exaggeration. And then we want to exaggerate our great alignment here to help us bring the shoulders back behind us to widen them apart. We're going to turn our palms to face up. We're going to come into some half sun salutations now. So first we want to feel nice and strong. This is our mountain pose. So to be a mountain means that we're firm and tall. So let's do that. Let's find our strength through the feet, the legs, the hips, the glutes, the core. So draw your belly in, roll your shoulders back. We're gonna lift the head up and tuck the chin in and feel nice and strong and tall. And as we inhale, we're gonna reach out to the sides, get a big stretch through that strength, then reach up to the ceiling, and exhale, we're gonna retrace that circle and bring the head back down if it lifts. So a deep inhale, we turn the palms to face up, we lift the arms up, and exhale. And now we're gonna add a forward fold. So we're gonna inhale the arms up, and exhale, coming into a forward fold. We're gonna remember to look down, to look back behind us. 3 deep breaths here. Inhale, and exhale. Inhaling, and exhaling. And one more breath cycle. And then inhale, we'll come up to standing, and maybe now we'll use the arms to help us stretch and lift up and grow tall. And exhale. And we're gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep the right hand by our side. We're gonna inhale our left arm up, and we're gonna lean out over towards the right. 2 more breaths here. And 1 more. And then we inhale to lift up through the left side. Exhale to release. We'll come into right side. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, lean over towards the left. And 2 more breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And then we'll lift up and exhale to release. Let's turn both palms to face out. Inhale, both arms up. We're gonna dive forward, forward folding. Exhale, release the neck and head. 2 more breath cycles here. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. And then we're gonna come up to standing. And exhale to release. Standing up nice and tall. And we want to make sure we're even through the right and the left side of the body as we stand up nice and tall. We're going to get ready for some standing poses that are going to strengthen our legs and strengthen our upper body. The first shape we're going to make, we're going to widen the feet more than hip distance apart. We're going to bring our hands to our hips, and we're going to roll the shoulders back and pull the elbows back too. This is our chair pose. So we're going to imagine we're sitting at a table at an imaginary chair with our spine up nice and tall. So we take an inhale, and what I mean to say is it's like we're standing up nice and tall. So if we were at a table, we wouldn't have our shoulders coming towards the plate, our shoulders would be lifted away from the plate. And what we want to do is we want to feel this in our hips, in our knees, and in our ankles. But where we're really going to feel is the muscles that support those joints. So in the glutes, the quads, the shins, and the calves. So take another breath here. And now let's inhale to lift up and exhale to release the arms. And you can shake that out if you need to. Now we're going to widen the feet even further apart, and we're going to try for a wide-legged forward fold position. So we're going to inhale our arms out to the side, and then we're going to exhale, and we're going to see if we can come forward. Now this is a place where you might utilize blocks again, or just being supported on your fingertips if you can reach the floor. And then once you come towards the floor, I'm going to even invite you to heel toe your feet a little further apart. And now we're going to stop looking at the screen, and we're going to exhale and try to walk our hands back in space so that we're looking now instead back behind us. And we're going to stay here for 3 more deep breaths. Okay, if you ever need to come out of a pose early, that's okay too. If you're following me, we'll take an inhale breath to walk our hands forward, lifting onto our fingertips, and then we're going to bring the feet closer together again. We bend at the knees, inhaling, we lift up, and exhaling, we roll the shoulders back. And then you can heel toe your feet a little closer and closer together, and then step them near each other to shake them out. Coming in a couple of shoulder rolls. We're going to get ready to come back into mountain pose. The shoulders will lift up, we'll roll them back behind us. We'll stand up nice and tall. We're going to do a nice stretch through the neck. We're going to inhale our right arm up, and we're going to bring our right hand towards our left ear. We take another inhale, and now we're going to exhale right ear to right shoulder. And deep breathing into a stretch here along the inseam of the left side of your neck. We want to make sure that shoulders are staying nice and even, the hips are staying nice and even, and you can reach this left hand out. 2 more breaths here. And 1 more, then we'll inhale. Maybe you stretch your arm up as you lift your head up, and exhale to release the arm. We'll take inhale through left side. Exhale as you bend into the elbow. Take another inhale here, and exhale to bring left ear to left shoulder. Deep stretch along the inseam of the right side of your neck. And 1 more breath here. We're going to lift on an inhale and exhale to lower down. You can shake that out. All right, shoulder rolls if you'd like to. Okay, we're going to keep the feet nice and wide apart, and I'm going to turn around and demo this from behind for a moment. Doing those shoulder rolls, we're going to try to bring the elbows and hands back behind us to interlace the fingers. And then some of us might need to hold the hands really close together, but in time, I'm going to be inviting us to use the fingers only to hold the hands as your wrists open your palms apart. So this is what the shape we're trying to make. And then we're going to take a nice inhale breath here. Remember, the feet are about hips, are a little bit more than hips distance apart, but not too wide apart. We take an inhale breath here, maybe about as wide as your mat, and exhale, we're going to try to come forward into a forward fold, lifting the hands away from the lower back. And you're going to remember to look back behind you for 2 more breaths. If you need to come out early, that's okay too. And now see if you can bring your hands back to your lower back, bending into your knees, and inhale to lift up. Then we'll exhale to release, and we'll roll through the shoulders. Okay, and now we're going to come standing towards the back of our mat, and we're going to bring our hands to our hips for a standing lunge, our warrior 1 position. So we're going to do it first on our right side. We're going to turn our left toes out on a big diagonal, and we're going to try to step the right foot forward towards the right gently. Then you're going to pull the right hip back, and this should already start to stretch out the front of the left hip. Then we're going to pull the shoulders and elbows back. We take an inhale breath here, and we're going to exhale as we bend into the right knee for our lunge, our warrior 1 lunge. And then if you'd like to try to inhale the arms up, you can try that too. If that's too much on the shoulders, remember you can widen your arms apart or bend at your elbows to make a nice shape for the shoulders. We'll try for 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then we're going to inhale to straighten out the right leg, exhale, hands to hips, and then we're going to heel toe the back foot forward a little bit, and then you can step the front foot back a little bit, and then we'll meet again. with maybe some little steps on the spot, and get ready for our second side. So right toes are gonna turn out, and we're gonna step the left foot forward, and we can even move our left foot to the left edge of our mat if we need to. Then we're gonna pull the right hip forward and the left hip back, and this is gonna create a deep stretch in the front side of your right hip. We take another breath here as we roll the shoulders back, inhaling, growing up nice and tall through the spine. Exhale, bend into your left knee. So we could be like this, or if you want to inhale the arms up, we could come into this position. We could widen the arms apart or make cactus shapes. And these are all nice shapes for the shoulders to make as we strengthen them and open them. 2 more deep breaths. And 1 more. And then we're gonna inhale to straighten out the left leg. Exhale, hands to hips. I heel toe my back foot forward. And then I step my front foot up to meet the back, and you can walk that out on the spot. Okay, and now we're gonna make our way back towards the floor. And we're gonna do that sun salutation style. So you might need your knee guard again, and your yoga blocks if you've got them, because this is gonna give us a nice place for our knees to meet the floor and a little bit of a support for our hands to reach for. So this is how I'm gonna be standing at the front edge of my mat. Coming into mountain pose, we'll do some shoulder rolls. We'll turn our palms to face out, and we'll take an inhale to draw the arms up and overhead, and exhale, this is your forward fold position. And you take another breath here, inhale, and exhale. We're gonna step the right foot back and drop the right knee down. And then step the left foot back and drop the left knee down. And then we're gonna return our hands towards the floor, and we find ourselves back in our tabletop position. And we're gonna move back into those cat-cow tilts we started to practice often, or we use when we transition to standing. Rolling through the shoulders on an inhale to look up, and rolling through the shoulders on an exhale to look back behind you. And on the exhale, I really push into my hands and my knees to try to bring the middle of the back up towards the ceiling. I get a nice stretch up here. On the inhale, we're getting a stretch through the front side of the body as we squeeze the shoulders towards the spine. And drop the belly down and lift the tailbone up. All right, and we're gonna come back to a neutral position now. We're gonna get ready. We're gonna sit back on the heels. I'm gonna move my knee guard out of the way. Sit back onto the heels. We're gonna bring our hands to one side. Our hips are coming to that same side, and my feet are moving away. And then the feet come forward here if you can. And we can shake the legs out in front of us. Okay, and we're gonna do a couple of stretches here for the hips. So first position, we're gonna try to stand up nice and tall with our hands by our sides, and we're gonna lift onto our fingertips. And if you need some help bringing the shoulders back behind you, maybe start here. Walk your hands all the way back so your shoulders pull back. Now start to crawl your fingertips out to your side bodies, and notice to keep this alignment, your core had to turn on, and we want that. We're gonna take a nice breath here. And as we exhale, we're gonna draw the core in a little bit more. We'll do 1 more breath cycle like that. Drawing the core in as we exhale. Then we're gonna bring our hands forward, take an inhale breath, and we're gonna try to reach towards the toes as we exhale. And some of us will touch the toes, and some of us will still be holding here, and that's okay too. Deep breath in, and exhale. And we'll try for 2 more breaths. And then we're gonna lift up on an inhale breath, and exhale to roll those shoulders back. Now we're gonna draw the right foot in on an inhale, and we're gonna open the right knee out. If you need to, you can take your folded blanket or towel and have it under the knee. Some of us have blocks, so we can utilize blocks. We're gonna take a nice inhale breath here, and we're gonna exhale. We're gonna try to come forward. So if you have tightness in the hip, you'll feel this, and it might not allow you to come forward. And then others of us will have tightness in the back side of this extended left leg, and that might keep you from coming forward. But what we're gonna be practicing in our yoga practice is learning how to process the journey. So take another inhale and just move towards your edge on an exhale. And now we're gonna look away from the screen, and we're gonna look down at our own leg for 1 more breath. And then we'll inhale to lift up, and exhale to release as we roll the shoulders back. We'll draw in our left leg and extend it out, and we'll come into right side. Inhaling right foot in, exhaling right knee out. If you need a support on this side, feel free to add it. If you don't need a support, think about widening your foot away from your inner thigh so that you could see the sole of your own left foot. Then take a nice inhale breath here, and we're gonna exhale into a forward stretch. And so for some of us, maybe we feel a positive stretch in the hip, a positive stretch in the back side of the leg. For others of us, maybe it feels less positive and we need to process all of that with a deep inhale. Release the neck and head, exhale. Another deep inhale and exhale. And one more breath. And we'll use the inhale to lift up. I'm walking my hands back in, I'm lifting back up, and exhaling to release. And maybe a little self-massage down those quads along the femur bone here. And now we're gonna get ready to open our knees out to the side. So if you have two rolled up towels, you could use one underneath each leg, or you could place a block underneath each leg. The shape we're trying to make, we're gonna draw the knees in, and then we're gonna widen them apart, and we're trying to make this shape. What might be a nice modification is you just don't bring your feet in as close to you. And then, like I said, you could have blocks or blankets underneath the knees, pillows too. But if you don't need the blocks, that's okay. Maybe you just adapt by how close your feet come in. In time, we want them to come in real close to the pelvic floor. We're gonna take an inhale breath here, and we're gonna widen the feet apart as we exhale. And of course, we're paying attention to growing up nice and tall through the spine. Another inhale breath here, and now we're gonna try to roll forward, and we're gonna imagine our head is gonna touch the floor in front of the feet. Sometimes I even like to pull on my own feet, drawing my elbows back as I pull my chest forward. Deep breaths. Let's look down at the floor for 2 more breaths, and maybe even look back behind you here towards your own navel. 1 more breath, and then we'll inhale to lift up. And we're gonna exhale to roll the shoulders back and bring the hands back behind us. Another inhale breath here. And exhale to draw in the core and try to push the knees towards the floor. And that's it. We're gonna go ahead and draw the knees up and exhale to shake out the legs. So that's a lot for the hips. For some folks, it might not be looking as open as my poses were, but something we can count on is that they'll open more and more through practice. So just being patient with the body as we start to heal and start to open. I'm gonna move my little blocks here out of the way. I'm gonna widen my feet apart. And then you're gonna be in control of how wide your feet go. So some of us have more flexibility, the feet open up more. Some of us are tighter, so the feet don't open up as far. But let's find our alignment. We want the knees and feet to be facing the ceiling. And I'm gonna bring my hands back behind me to pull my shoulders back and sit up nice and tall. Then we're slowly gonna crawl our fingertips out to the side. This is gonna help us grow up even taller. We're gonna feel our core engage, exhaling. We'll do one more breath like that. Inhale, feel your core engage, exhaling. And now we're gonna bring the hands forward. It's all core here to hold up nice and tall on the inhale, and see if you can come forward any amount as you exhale. And some of us will be right here and they're getting plenty of stretch. The legs wanna move. You feel this through the inner thighs. So take 3 more deep breaths here. If you're able to, you can lower down onto elbows, and you can, in time, bring your chest towards the floor, whatever your body has in you. We're probably at 1 more breath. And now we can walk the hands back in on an inhale, and as we exhale, maybe the feet will start to come in closer together. You can shake them out. Okay. And now we're gonna make our way towards the floor. So I'm gonna re-extend my legs towards the front of my mat. You're probably already there. And I'm gonna invite us to walk our glutes forward so that we're kind of in this position here at the front edge of our mat. We have all this room to lay our backs down onto the floor. And now we're gonna bring our hands back behind us. See if you can keep your fingers turned facing your own hips. And then we're gonna try to push the chest forward and roll the shoulders back. And now we're gonna try to draw the belly in. This is our boat pose. We're gonna take an inhale breath here. We're gonna try to bend into the elbows and take the heels of the feet off the floor. So we come onto the tippy toes. If you can, take another inhale breath here and see if you can exhale and lift your feet off the ground any amount. You can always come out early. Try to keep the knees together. Try to draw the belly in for 1 more breath. And we're gonna bring the feet down. We're gonna walk the hands forward. We're gonna clasp our own ankles. Take another inhale. Release the face, chin draws in, exhale. 1 more breath here. And now we're gonna get ready to come towards the floor. And as we come towards the floor, I'm gonna inhale, lengthen down my spine. Exhale, draw my core in as I draw the elbow down. Take another inhale, breath. Exhale, core in as the elbows draw down. Inhaling, exhaling, core draws in as we roll the spine on towards the floor. And I'm gonna bend at my knees so that the soles of my feet are on the floor, and we're back at this position. We started our class in with the spine lengthening along the floor and the knees pointing up towards the ceiling. And then from here, we're gonna try to come into a nice gentle twist before the end of our practice. And this is gonna help us stretch out the sides of the hips. If twisting's not comfortable for you, you could try a figure 4 position instead. We're trying to get a nice stretch on these outer hips. Also a little bit through the shoulders and the torso. So we're gonna extend our arms into a T shape. And then we're gonna try to lift the feet off of the floor and draw the knees into the chest. We're gonna take an inhale breath here, pushing the lower back into the floor. We're gonna exhale, knees over towards the right. And what's gonna happen is this left shoulder is gonna lift, and that's okay. If you need to, you could always place a blanket here for your left shoulder to lean on. And then your right hand can come to your left knee. If you don't need that blanket there, just in time, you're reaching your left hand away from you, and that's gonna bring your shoulder back towards the floor, okay? And now you can look over towards your left hand for 2 more breaths. I'm getting ready to transition to the second side. I release my right hand from my left knee and I walk my feet back to center. Pushing the lower back, middle back into the floor. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale, lean over towards the left. Try to bring your knees up. That's what's gonna create more of a 90-degree angle here and help us get the stretch in the right area of the body. It's okay for right shoulder to lift. If you need to place a blanket underneath the right shoulder, feel welcome to as you try to release it back towards the floor. We can also bring left hand to right knee and just reach right hand away from us as we start to work right shoulder into the ground. And then I'm gonna turn and gaze out over my right shoulder as well. 3 more breaths here. Deep in sound breathing, 1 more inhale. And exhale. And I'm gonna release my left hand from my right knee, and I'm gonna walk my feet back into center. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna draw the knees into the chest, give ourselves a nice hug, and we're gonna lift the feet once again up towards the ceiling. We're gonna make cactus arms or T-shape for the arms, or you can have your arms resting alongside your body. And we're gonna do some ankle rolls here. Deep in sound breathing. We wanna make sure to lengthen the neck and the head. We don't wanna be lifting the chin up to the ceiling. We want the chin pointing back towards the chest. Okay. Deep in sound breathing, couple more breaths here. And then we're gonna bend at the knees. We're gonna bring the feet back towards the floor. And we're gonna see if we can make a supported butterfly position using blankets, pillows, towels, or blocks. I'm gonna bring the soles of my feet together and widen my knees apart onto my blocks. Then I'm gonna stretch my arms out into a T or into cactus shape and close the eyes and take the gaze within for some cleansing breaths in our final decompression pose. You're welcome to stay here in your butterfly position, or if you'd like to extend your arms and then draw them alongside the body, you might support yourself transitioning into a elongated position with the legs coming into a Shavasana style. And I like to use the blocks that I was using for my butterfly position to support my legs here in Shavasana. It really gives a little support to the lower back with a slight lift through the femurs there. So you could try this out if you ever have any sensitivity in the lower back when you're laying flat. I'm taking some deep breaths here. Remember, the palms turn to face up so that the shoulders are widening out along the floor. Okay, you're welcome to stay here as long as you need to. I'm going to invite some of us to do a breath practice from a seated position. So this is where I'll invite us to reintroduce movement back into the body by wiggling through the fingers and the toes and maybe tilting the head from side to side. And then if you need to, you can take a nice long stretch just like we did at the start of class. And then maybe even yawn as you come back into your shape, or into your body, I should say. Whatever movements come naturally to you now, feel welcome to make them. And then I'm going to use that to transition over to right or left side. Maybe blinking the eyes open slowly for a little bit will help adjust to coming back into the space. And then I'm going to push into my arms and my hands to slowly bring my head back above my heart. And now for some of us, you might need to sit with your legs extended, but I'm going to invite you to try a cross-legged position. We haven't done this yet in our class, and so if you need to support with blocks or blankets or pillows, feel welcome to bring those blocks and blankets or towels high up under the legs to keep the knees nice and lifted and supported. And if you don't need blocks or blankets, that's okay too. We're going to sit up nice and tall, placing the hands in the lap or on the knees. And just coming back into some deep breaths. Maybe noticing that there's more freedom in the hips and the shoulders now. More strength in the core to sit up nice and tall. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for making it to your mat today. Namaste.